Captain Lee Hyun stood at the edge of the massive meeting hall on Nexus Prime. The building was bigger than most cities on Earth. Thousands of alien beings filled the space, their voices creating a noise that hurt his ears. He pulled his uniform straight and tried to look important, but he knew the truth. Nobody here cared about humans. The galaxy had 3 real powers, and everyone knew it. The Vorthak Empire controlled half the known systems. Their bodies looked like living crystal, and they could turn energy into weapons with just a thought. Their ships glowed with power that could destroy planets. When a Vorthak spoke, others listened. The Kalani Collective owned another quarter of space. They had changed their bodies with science until they looked more like plants than animals. Their ships were alive, growing and healing like living things. They could make new creatures just by thinking about what they needed. Their technology was beyond anything humans could understand. The Zephyrian Assembly ruled the rest through their minds. They could speak to each other across star systems without any machines. Their thoughts moved faster than their ships. When they wanted something, they just put the idea into other beings' heads. Most species could not say no to them. Then there was humanity. 50 years ago, they had found humans on a small blue planet. Earth had just learned to travel between stars. The galactic powers looked at humans and saw nothing special. No energy, control like the Vorthak. No biological mastery like the Kalani. No mental powers like the Zephyrians. Just weak creatures who used simple machines to get around. The galaxy gave humans the jobs nobody else wanted. Mining dangerous asteroids. Moving cargo through empty space. Cleaning up after the real powers finished their business. Humans were grateful just to be allowed in galactic space. Lee Hyun watched the main speakers take their places on the great platform. A Vorthak crystal being stepped forward first. Light danced inside its body as it spoke. The translator in Lee Hyun's ear turned the sounds into words he could understand. The mining rights in Sector 7 belong to the Empire, the Vorthak said. Lesser species will move their operations immediately. A Kalani representative stood next. Its body looked like a tree made of metal and flesh. The collective needs those resources for new ship forms. We claim Sector 7 for biological development. The Zephyrian delegate was almost human-looking, except for the silver eyes that seemed to glow. When it spoke, Lee Hyun felt the words inside his head before his translator caught up. The Assembly has already decided. Sector 7 will serve our needs. Lee Hyun looked around the hall. The 3 powers talked about the sector like it was empty, but he knew better. 12 different species lived there, including 3 human colonies with 50,000 people total. None of them had been asked what they wanted. A small creature that looked like a walking mushroom tried to speak from the crowd. But our people live in Sector 7. We have been there for 200 years. The Vorthak's light grew brighter. Lesser species can relocate. The Empire will provide basic transport. Lee Hyun felt anger rise in his chest. Basic transport meant cargo ships with no life support. Half the species being moved would die on the trip. He started to stand, but a hand grabbed his arm. "Do not do it," said Dr. Park Mira. She was the smartest person Lee Hyun knew, and right now she looked scared. "They will notice us. That is not good for Earth." Lee Hyun sat back down. Dr. Park was right. Earth had 3 billion people, but that meant nothing out here. The Vorthak had destroyed entire star systems for less than speaking out of turn. Humans had to stay quiet and hope the big powers forgot they existed. The meeting went on for hours. The 3 powers divided up space like it was a pie. Smaller species got nothing unless they served one of the big 3. Lee Hyun listened to it all, memorizing every word. Someone on Earth needed to know how bad things were getting. When the meeting finally ended, Lee Hyun walked with Dr. Park through the city outside. Nexus Prime was the galactic capital, and it showed the power of the 3 rulers everywhere. Vorthak crystal towers reached into the sky, glowing with captured starlight. Kalani buildings grew like living trees, changing shape as they watched. Zephyrian structures seemed to float in the air, held up by pure thought. Human visitors stayed in a small area near the spaceport. The buildings there were made of simple metal and plastic. They looked like children's toys next to the alien architecture. "How long do you think we have?" Lee Hyun asked as they walked. Dr. Park was quiet for a long moment. "The pattern is getting clearer. First they ignore us, then they use us. Soon they will decide we are not useful anymore. And then, look at the Vrex. Look at the Talorans. Look at any species that got in the way." Dr. Park's voice was very quiet. "They do not exist anymore." They reached the human district. The streets were full of miners, cargo haulers, and maintenance workers. All of them looked tired. These people had left Earth hoping to find something better among the stars. Instead, they found a galaxy where humans were barely worth noticing. Lee Hyun and Dr. Park went to her small laboratory. She had been studying human biology, trying to understand why other species had special powers while humans had nothing. Her workspace was full of machines that looked primitive next to alien technology. "I found something," Dr. Park said as she turned on her equipment. "It might be nothing, but I need to show someone." She pulled up images on her screen. They showed human brain scans, but there was something strange about them. Lines of light ran through the neural tissue like circuits. "What am I looking at?" Lee Hyun asked. "Neural pathways that should not exist," Dr. Park said. "Every human has them, but they are not active. The patterns are unlike anything in the Galactic Biological Database." Lee Hyun studied the images. The light lines were beautiful, like art made of electricity. "What do you think they do?" "I do not know yet, but I ran tests on volunteers. When humans are under extreme stress, the pathways show activity. Last week, when that Vorthak patrol threatened the mining station, 3 workers showed massive neural activation for exactly 4 minutes." "What happened during those 4 minutes?" Dr. Park looked nervous. "They fixed a Kalani bioprocessor that had been broken for months. They did it without tools, just by touching it. When the stress ended, they could not remember how they did it." Before Lee Hyun could respond, alarms started ringing throughout the district. Emergency broadcasts filled the streets. "Every human, stop to listen." The voice came from Earth's government. "All humans in galactic space, return to your accommodations immediately. Do not travel alone. Do not interact with other species unless necessary." Lee Hyun and Dr. Park looked at each other. "What happened?" she asked. The answer came a few minutes later. Another broadcast, this one from the Vorthak Empire. The crystal being's voice was cold and final. "Lesser species have become too numerous and consume too many resources. The Empire will now implement direct control over all minor civilizations. You have 72 hours to submit to Imperial management or face restructuring. Resistance will result in species termination." The street outside went completely quiet. Then someone started crying. Soon the whole district filled with the sound of fear. Lee Hyun felt something change inside his head. The anger was back, but it was different now. Stronger, more focused. He could almost feel electricity moving through his brain. "They want to own us," he said. Dr. Park was staring at her scanner. It was pointed at Lee Hyun and the readings were going crazy. "Your neural pathways," she whispered. "They are lighting up like stars." Lee Hyun looked at his hands. For just a moment he could swear he saw light moving under his skin. Then the feeling faded, leaving him dizzy and confused. "What was that?" he asked. "I think," Dr. Park said slowly, "we're about to find out what humans are really for." The emergency council meeting on Earth lasted 18 hours. President Kang So-ra sat at the head of the table, looking older than her 60 years. Around her, the planet's leaders argued about surrender, resistance, and impossible choices. "We, boy, cannot fight them," said Defense Minister Wong. "The Vorthak Empire has ships that can crack planets. We have cargo haulers with mining lasers. If we surrender, they will use us like slaves," replied Admiral Choi Bin. "Look what happened to the Deltans after they submitted. Half their population works in Vorthak crystal farms now." President Kang rubbed her temples. The headache had Not gone away since the ultimatum arrived. What about evacuation? Can we move our people to unexplored sectors? With what ships? Admiral Choi asked. We have maybe 300 vessels that can travel between stars. Earth has 3 billion people. Dr. Park Mira sat in the corner watching the argument. She had arrived from Nexus Prime that morning with Captain Lee Hyun. Her research data was spread across a small table, but nobody was paying attention to it. There might be another option, she said quietly. The room went silent. President Kang looked at her with tired eyes. Dr. Park, please. We need real solutions, not theories. This is real. Dr. Park stood up and activated her portable display. Brain scans filled the air above the table. Every human has dormant neural pathways. Under stress, they activate. I think they let us interface with technology in ways other species cannot. General Lee Soo-jin laughed, but it was not a happy sound. Interface with technology? Our technology is garbage compared to theirs. Not our technology, Dr. Park said. Theirs. She showed them recordings from the mining station incident. 3 workers fixing a Kalani bioprocessor just by touching it. Security footage of a maintenance crew somehow reprogramming Zephyrian communication arrays during a power crisis. Each time, the humans could not explain what they had done. Captain Lee Hyun stepped forward. Something happened to me yesterday. When I heard the ultimatum, I felt electricity in my brain. Dr. Park's scanner detected massive neural activity. Stress reactions, Minister Wong said dismissively. People imagine things when they are scared. Then explain this. Dr. Park switched to a new recording. It showed Lee Hyun in her lab an hour ago. His hand was resting on a broken Vorthak energy cell that had been dead for months. As they watched, the crystal began to glow. Power readings climbed from 0 to full capacity in seconds. The room was completely quiet now. How did you do that? President Kang asked. Lee Hyun looked at his hand. I do not know. I just wanted it to work, and suddenly I could feel the energy patterns inside the crystal. It was like reading a map. Dr. Park brought up more data. I have been testing volunteers all week. Humans under stress can interface with any technology they touch. Vorthak energy systems, Kalani bioprocessors, Zephyrian psychic amplifiers. We do not just use them. We understand them. We can improve them. Admiral Choi leaned forward. How many people can do this? I think all of us, Dr. Park said. The neural pathways exist in every human brain. They just need the right trigger. And what triggers them? Dr. Park looked around the room. Threat to survival, extreme stress, the need to protect others. She paused. Exactly what we are feeling right now. Engineer Yoon Da-hae had been quiet through the whole meeting. She was young, maybe 25, and had designed most of Earth's current spacecraft. Now she stood up with excitement in her eyes. If we can interface with alien technology, we can combine it, she said. Take Vorthak energy control, add Kalani bioadaptation, include Zephyrian psychic enhancement, make hybrid systems. That is impossible, General Lee Soo-jin said. The 3 technologies are completely incompatible. Incompatible to them, Yoon Da-hae replied. But what if humans can be the bridge? What if we can make them work together? President Kang stood up slowly. Dr. Park, how quickly can you test this theory? Give me volunteers and some alien technology. Samples. I can have results in 6 hours. Do it. The president's voice was firm now. Admiral Choi, prepare our fastest ships for evacuation, but do it quietly. General Lee, put our forces on alert, but do not move them yet. If this works, we might have a chance. If it does not, we surrender tomorrow. The next 6 hours changed everything. Dr. Park set up her tests in a secure facility under Seoul. 50 volunteers came from different fields: engineers, pilots, scientists, even artists. Each person was given alien technology samples and told to try interfacing with them. At first, nothing happened. Then someone reported feeling dizzy near a Vorthak crystal. Another volunteer said a Kalani bionode felt warm when she touched it. Small things, easy to dismiss. Then Engineer Yoon Da-hae placed her hand on a broken Zephyrian psychic amplifier. Her eyes rolled back and she started speaking in languages nobody recognized. Dr. Park's scanners showed her brain lighting up like a Christmas tree. When Yoon Da-hae opened her eyes, the amplifier was working. More than working. It was broadcasting, on frequencies the Zephyrians had never used. "I can see the quantum patterns," she whispered. "The mathematics behind their psychic network. It is beautiful." Within an hour, volunteers were interfacing with technology from all three major powers. A farmer fixed a Kalani bioreactor and improved its efficiency by 40%. A teacher combined Vorthak energy manipulation with human electronics, creating a power source that should not exist. Captain Lee Hyun worked with a mixed sample of all three technologies. As the others watched, he created something completely new. A device that used Vorthak energy to power Kalani biocircuits, controlled by Zephyrian psychic interfaces and enhanced by human engineering. "What does it do?" Dr. Park asked. Lee Hyun smiled for the first time in days. "Everything." The reports reached President Kang just as the Vorthak deadline entered its final hours. She read them twice, then called the Emergency Council back into session. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said as everyone took their seats, "we are not surrendering." The room erupted in arguments, but she held up her hand for silence. Dr. Park's experiments worked. Our people can interface with alien technology. We can improve it. We can combine it. We can create weapons and ships the galaxy has never seen. Even if that is true, Defense Minister Wong said, we still only have 300 ships against millions. Then we build more, President Kang replied. Engineer Yoon, how long to retrofit our existing vessels with hybrid technology? Yoon Da-hae looked excited and terrified at the same time. If we can mass produce the interface process, maybe 2 weeks for basic upgrades, a month for full conversion. The Vorthak will not give us a month, Admiral Choi pointed out. Then we make them give us time, the president said. Captain Lee Hyun, take your ship to the asteroid mining station in Alpha Sector. When the Vorthak inspection team arrives, show them what humans can do now. Lee Hyun nodded. What if they attack? President Kang's expression was harder than steel. Then we show the galaxy that humanity is no longer helpless. 2 days later, Captain Lee Hyun stood on the bridge of his ship, the Determination. It looked the same from outside, but everything had changed. The engines now combined Vorthak energy manipulation with Kalani bioadaptation. The weapons were hybrids of all 3 major technologies. The ship itself seemed almost alive. His crew of 20 had all gone through the interface process. Each person could now connect with the ship's systems directly, understanding them like extensions of their own bodies. Vorthak patrol approaching, reported Communications Officer Kim Tae. 3 heavy cruisers and a battleship. Lee Hyun felt the familiar electric sensation in his brain, but this time, instead of fighting it, he let it flow. Suddenly, he could sense every system on his ship, every power flow, every quantum fluctuation. Open communication, he ordered. The Vorthak commander appeared on screen. Its crystalline body pulsed with angry red light. Human vessel, you will submit to inspection immediately. Resistance will result in destruction. I am Captain Lee Hyun of the Earth ship Determination, he replied calmly. We decline your inspection. The Vorthak's light grew brighter. You dare refuse the Empire? Your pathetic species will be the first to face restructuring. Go ahead, Lee Hyun said. Try to restructure us. The Vorthak battleship fired first. Energy beams that could vaporize asteroids lanced toward the Determination. Lee Hyun felt his crew's minds connecting through their interfaces, working together like parts of a single organism. The beams struck their shields and simply disappeared, absorbed by bioadaptive barriers that converted the energy into fuel for their own systems. Impossible, the Vorthak commander said. No, Lee Hyun replied. Just human. The Determination fired back. Its weapons were unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Energy beams that adapted to enemy defenses in real time. Biomissiles that learned from each impact. Psychic pulses that confused enemy targeting systems. The first Vorthak cruiser exploded before its crew understood what was happening. The second tried to retreat but found its engine somehow working in reverse. The third surrendered after its weapons turned on itself. Only the battleship remained, and its commander was screaming orders that made no sense. "Human ship, what are you? This technology is impossible." Lee Hyun smiled. "We are what happens when the galaxy underestimates a species for 50 years. We watched, we learned, we adapted." He paused. "And now we are awake." The news spread across the galaxy faster than light travel. Humanity had defeated a Vorthak battle group. Impossible recordings showed human ships doing things that broke the laws of physics. Energy weapons that grew stronger when attacked. Shields that turned enemy fire into fuel. Ships that seemed to think for themselves. Fleet Commander Nam Jin-woo watched the recordings for the 10th time aboard his flagship, the New Soul. 3 weeks had passed since Captain Lee Hyun's victory, and everything had changed. Earth now had over 200 hybrid ships, each one unique and deadly. "Sir, we are receiving another surrender signal," reported his tactical officer. Lieutenant Park Do-Hyun. Nam Jin-woo nodded. "Which system this time?" "The Helix mining colony. They want protection from Vorthak retaliation. That makes 37 systems that have requested human assistance." "And how many have the 3 powers taken back by force?" 12, sir. They are getting desperate." Nam Jin-woo understood their fear. For thousands of years, the Vorthak, Kalani, and Zephyrians had ruled through superior technology. Now humans were proving that technology was only as powerful as the minds that used it. "Status. Report on our hybrid development," he asked. Research Director Oh Ye-jin stepped forward. She looked tired but excited. Her teams had been working without sleep for weeks. "We have successfully interfaced with samples from 43 different alien technologies. Each human who completes the process can understand and improve systems from any species." "How many people have undergone interface training?" "Over 50,000 on Earth alone. Colony worlds are reporting similar numbers. The process is becoming easier as more people complete it." Nam Jin-woo smiled grimly. "The 3 powers are about to learn what exponential growth means." On his main screen, a priority message appeared. It came from Kepler Station, humanity's most important research facility. The message was simple. They are coming. All 3 powers. Together. The battle for Kepler Station began at dawn on a Tuesday. The station hung in space between 2 dead worlds, its massive structure home to 30,000 researchers and engineers. It was humanity's most important facility, where the greatest breakthroughs in hybrid technology happened every day. Captain Lee Hyun commanded the defense. His small fleet of 12 ships faced the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. 300 Vorthak energy cruisers, 200 Kalani bioships that looked like flying cities, 150 Zephyrian mined vessels that hurt to look at directly. "They really want us gone," commented Commander Kim Tae from his position. At the tactical station, Lee Hyun felt the familiar electric sensation as his mind connected with the station systems. For 3 weeks, human engineers had been improving everything they could touch. Kepler Station was no longer just a research facility. It was the most advanced hybrid system ever created. "All ships, interface with the station's defense grid," he ordered. "Let's show them what cooperation looks like." What happened next would be studied by military historians for centuries. As the human ships connected with Kepler Station, they stopped being separate vessels. Instead, they became parts of a single, vast intelligence. The station itself came alive, its weapons and shields flowing like liquid metal. The Vorthak attacked first. Their energy beams crossed space in perfect formation, enough firepower to destroy a planet. The beams struck Kepler Station and simply vanished. The station's bioadaptive hull absorbed the energy, converted it, and fed it back into its own systems. The Kalani tried next. Their living ships launched clouds of bioweapons, creatures designed to eat through any material. But as the creatures reached the station, they suddenly stopped attacking. The station's psychic interfaces had convinced them that Kepler was not an enemy, but a friend to be protected. The Zephyrian mind assault was the most dangerous. Psychic screams that could drive entire species insane filled space around the station. But human minds, enhanced by hybrid technology, turned the attack back on itself. The Zephyrian ships found their own weapons targeting each other. Then Kepler Station fired back. Its weapons defied every known law of warfare, energy beams that learned and adapted as they traveled, becoming more powerful with each ship they destroyed. Biomissiles that convinced enemy vessels to lower their own shields. Psychic pulses that made alien crews forget how to operate their own systems. In 30 minutes, the greatest fleet ever assembled was reduced to wreckage and fleeing survivors. But the real shock came when the battle ended. Captain Ryu Min, leading a squadron of hybrid fighters, had done something that changed everything. His small ships had actually boarded and captured 3 Kalani biovessels during the fighting. How? Fleet Commander Nam Jin-woo asked when he read the report. Captain Ryu's voice came through the communication system from inside one of the captured ships. We interfaced with their living systems. The ships thought we were their crew. They let us in willingly. And the original crews? Unharmed. The bioships convinced them to sleep until we could sort things out. These vessels are not just ships, sir. They are thinking creatures, and they like us better than their previous owners. The implications hit everyone at the same time. Humans could not only interface with alien technology, they could convince it to change sides. Within hours, similar reports came from across human space. Captured Vorthak energy systems that worked better for humans than their original makers. Zephyrian psychic amplifiers that preferred human minds to alien ones. Even the galaxy's most advanced technologies seemed to respond better to human operators. Tech-specialist BAE Wu Jin made the discovery that explained everything. Working in a captured Vorthak laboratory, he found the records of an ancient species called the Builders. They had vanished millions of years ago, but their mark was on every piece of advanced technology in the galaxy. They designed everything. He reported to Research Director Oye Jin. Every major technology in galactic civilization comes from builder templates. The Vorthak, Kalani, and Zephyrians just found their ruins and copied what they could understand. And humans? We do not copy. We interface. We understand the original design principles that even the builders used. That is why we can improve their technology and combine systems that seem incompatible. Yejin stared at the data. Are you saying that humans are more compatible with builder technology than the species that have been using it for thousands of years? I am saying that humans might be what the builders intended all along. The war changed after Kepler Station. The 3 major powers no longer attacked human positions directly. Instead, they tried to prevent other species from joining humanity's growing alliance. But it was too late. Systems across the galaxy had seen the recordings. They watched humans turn the galaxy's most powerful weapons against their creators. Ambassador Han Mi-kyung traveled from world to world, demonstrating human hybrid technology. Everywhere she went, the message was the same. The age of domination was ending. Technology would serve all species equally, enhanced and unified through human interfaces. The Graxian Trade Federation joined first, bringing their commercial networks. The Talus Mining Consortium followed, offering their industrial capacity. Within months, over 200 species had allied with humanity, not from fear, but from hope. The 3 powers tried one final gambit. They met in secret and decided to destroy Earth itself. If they could eliminate humanity's homeworld, the hybrid technology would die with it. The attack came without warning. Every available ship from all 3 powers converging on Earth's solar system. Nearly 2,000 vessels, carrying weapons that could turn stars into supernovas. They never reached Earth. Admiral Choi Bin had been expecting this move. Human hybrid ships met the enemy fleet at the edge of the solar system. But these were not the same vessels that had fought at Kepler Station. These ships had evolved. Captain Lee Hyun commanded the defense from a vessel that looked more like a living creature than a machine. Its hull flowed and shifted, adapting to each attack before it arrived. Its weapons changed form constantly, becoming whatever was needed to counter enemy tactics. All ships full interface, he ordered. The human fleet became a single entity, 50 ships thinking with one mind, moving with perfect coordination. As the enemy approached, the hybrid vessels began to change. They flowed together, merging and separating as needed. Individual ships became parts of larger weapons, then split apart to avoid return fire. The three powers had brought their greatest fleets to destroy humanity. Instead, they watched those fleets dissolve under attacks they could not understand or counter. Ships that adapted faster than their crews could react. Weapons that learned from every exchange and became stronger. When the battle ended, half the enemy vessels were destroyed. The other half had switched sides, their technology convinced by human interfaces that cooperation was better than conquest. Fleet Commander Nam Jin Woo stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the last enemy ships flee toward their home systems. Around him, space was filled with hybrid vessels from dozens of species all working together. "Sir," reported Captain Park Do-hyun, "we are receiving surrender offers from 17 Vorthak systems, 31 Kalani breeding worlds, and 43 Zephyrian colonies." Nam Jin-woo nodded. The three great powers were collapsing from within. The siege of Earth began on a Thursday morning. Every major power in the galaxy had finally understood what humanity represented. Not just another species with better weapons, but the end of everything they knew. General Lee Soo-jin stood in the command center buried deep under Seoul, watching displays that showed incoming fleets from across the galaxy. The three major powers had done something unprecedented. They had convinced nearly every species in known space to join them in one final assault. "Numbers?" she asked her aide. "Over 10,000 ships," Lieutenant Commander Yoon Da-hai reported. "They are calling it the Grand Alliance for Galactic Preservation." "Preservation," General Lee repeated with a bitter laugh. "They want to preserve their right to rule over everyone else." The irony was not lost on anyone in the command center. The three powers that had spent millennia fighting each other were now united in their hatred of humanity. They had convinced hundreds of species that humans were a threat to galactic civilization itself. In a way, they were right. President Kang So-ra joined the briefing through a secure connection from her bunker. She looked older, grayer than before, but her voice was steady. "Status of our defenses? All hybrid systems are operational," General Lee reported. "Our orbital platforms have been enhanced with builder-level technology. The lunar defense grid is online. Mars base has become a fortress. And our people? Evacuation of non-essential personnel is complete. Everyone remaining has undergone interface training. Earth itself is ready to fight." It was true. Over the past months, human engineers had done more than build weapons and ships. They had transformed Earth into something the galaxy had never seen. Cities that could defend themselves. Oceans filled with hybrid biosystems. An atmosphere that could heal from any damage. The entire planet had become a living fortress. Tech-specialist BAE Woo Jin appeared on another screen. He was calling from a research facility on Europa, Jupiter's moon. "General, I have news about the builder ruins." "Good news or bad news?" "Both. The good news is that I have successfully interfaced with a complete builder facility. The knowledge I gained is beyond anything we imagined." General Lee felt her stomach tighten. "And the bad news?" "The builders did not vanish. They evolved. They became something beyond physical existence, and they left instructions." "Instructions for what?" BAE Woo Jin's expression was a mixture of wonder and terror. How to transcend physical reality entirely. How to become beings of pure thought and energy. The three major powers have been using builder technology for thousands of years, but they never found this. Only humans can interface deeply enough to access the final protocols. The implications hit everyone at once. Humanity had not just found better weapons, they had found the path to godhood. "Can we use it?" President Kang asked. "I do not know if we should," BAE Woo Jin replied. The process would change us into something that is no longer human. We would become like the builders, immortal, all-powerful, but no longer bound to physical reality. Would it stop the Grand Alliance? It would make the question irrelevant. Physical fleets cannot threaten beings that exist beyond matter and energy. Before anyone could respond, alarms began ringing throughout the command center. The Grand Alliance fleet had arrived. Captain Lee Hyun watched from the bridge of his flagship as 10,000 enemy vessels filled the space around Earth, every shape and size imaginable. Crystalline Vorthak dreadnoughts that glowed like stars, Kalani bioships the size of cities, Zephyrian mind vessels that hurt to look at directly, and hundreds of other species, all united in their fear of human potential. They are not taking any chances this time, observed Commander Kim Tae. Look at those formations. They mean to turn Earth into dust. Lee Hyun felt the familiar electric sensation as his mind connected with Earth's defense network. But this time, something was different. The connection was deeper, more complete than ever before. He could sense not just the planet's weapons and shields, but its very life force. All human vessels, full interface with planetary defenses, he ordered. Let's show them what Earth has become. The transformation was visible from space. Earth's surface began to glow as hybrid systems activated across the planet. The oceans turned silver as biomechanical defenses rose from the depths. The atmosphere itself started to shimmer with energy patterns. The Grand Alliance attacked with everything they had. Energy beams that could crack moons, bioweapons that consumed entire ecosystems, psychic assaults that could drive planets insane, weapons from species that had never worked together before, all focused on one small blue world. Earth absorbed it all. The planet's hybrid atmosphere converted energy attacks into fuel for its defenses. Bioweapons found themselves welcomed by Earth's enhanced ecosystem, then gently reprogrammed to serve as guardians instead of destroyers. Psychic assaults were turned back by the combined will of 3 billion human minds, all connected through the interface system. Then Earth fought. Back. What rose from the planet was not just weapons, but something that resembled the wrath of a living god. Beams of pure creation that transformed enemy ships into hybrid vessels loyal to Earth. Waves of evolutionary force that convinced alien crews their true loyalty belonged to humanity. Reality itself seemed to bend around the planet, making the laws of physics serve Earth's defense. In orbit, General Lee Soo-jin commanded ground forces that had evolved beyond traditional military concepts. Her soldiers no longer needed ships to fight in space. Enhanced by hybrid technology, they could survive in vacuum, fly between worlds, and interface with any enemy vessel they touched. When Zephyrian psychic warriors tried to invade human minds, they found themselves trapped in a collective consciousness that included every human on Earth. Instead of conquering individual thoughts, they were absorbed into humanity's shared experience. Impossible, transmitted the Grand Alliance commander, a Vorthak emperor whose crystal body pulsed with frustrated energy. No single species can withstand the combined might of the galaxy. You are right, Lee Hyun replied from his flagship. No single species could do this, but we are no longer just human. As if to prove his point, the space around Earth began to change. The captured enemy ships were not just switching sides. They were evolving, their alien technologies merging with human enhancements to create something entirely new. Ambassador Han Mi-kyung, coordinating with allied species from her command ship, added her voice to the transmission. We offered cooperation. We offered partnership. We offered a future where technology served everyone equally. You chose war instead. The battle raged for 3 days. The Grand Alliance threw everything they had at Earth, but the planet only grew stronger with each attack. Human hybrid technology was not just defensive, it was adaptive. Every enemy weapon that struck Earth was analyzed, understood, and improved upon within minutes. By the end of the 3rd day, half the Grand Alliance fleet had been converted to hybrid vessels. The other half was fleeing in panic, their crews broadcasting warnings about humanity's impossible abilities. But the real shock came when tech specialist Bae Woo-jin activated the builder protocols. He had not asked for permission. Seeing Earth under siege, Watching his species fight for survival against overwhelming odds, he had made the choice alone. In the depths of the Europa facility, he had interfaced completely with the Builder Transcendent System. The change was visible across the solar system. A wave of golden light expanded outward from Jupiter's moon, touching every human vessel, every hybrid system, every mind connected to the interface network. Captain Lee Hyun felt it first. Knowledge beyond imagination flooded his consciousness. Understanding of reality's deepest laws, the ability to manipulate matter and energy with pure thought, awareness that stretched across galactic distances. But he remained human. They all did. The builders made an error, Bae Woojin explained when the transformation was complete. His voice now carried harmonics that resonated through hyperspace itself. They thought transcendence meant abandoning physical existence. But humans have found a different path. We can access builder-level abilities while remaining grounded in material reality. The implications were staggering. Humanity had not just gained godlike powers, they had found a way to use those powers while staying connected to the physical universe, to other species, to the concerns and needs of mortal life. General Lee Soo-jin looked at her hands and saw circuitry of light running beneath her skin. She could feel every human mind in the solar system, all connected but still individual. She could sense the technological systems of 1,000 different species, all ready to serve at her thought. We need to establish contact with the remaining Grand Alliance forces, President Kang said. Her voice carried new authority, backed by understanding that spanned dimensions. They need to know that the war is over. The message went out across the galaxy on channels that had never existed before. Every species with receivers capable of detecting hyperspace communications heard humanity's final ultimatum. This is Earth. The Grand Alliance is defeated. The age of the three major powers has ended. We offer one final chance for peaceful cooperation. Join us in building a galaxy where technology serves all life equally, or face the consequences of continued resistance. 1 year after the siege of Earth ended, Captain Lee Hyun stood on the observation deck of the Harmony, a vessel that existed as much in thought as in physical reality. Through the transparent walls, he watched the construction of something that had never been attempted in galactic history. The Great Station was rising in the space between three star systems. It was not just a structure, but a living embodiment of cooperation between thousands of species. Vorthak crystal technology provided the energy framework. Kalani biosystems created living spaces that adapted to each species' needs. Zephyrian, psychic networks allowed instant communication across vast distances, and human interface abilities bound it all together into a unified whole. Status report on sector integration? He asked. Counselor Shin Ye-eun materialized beside him, her form slightly translucent as she projected her consciousness across interstellar distances. The transcendence process had given humans abilities that still amaze their former enemies. Remarkable progress, she reported. Former Vorthak territories are adapting to cooperative governance faster than expected. The crystal beings actually prefer shared decision-making to imperial decrees. Who would have thought? Lee Hyun smiled. And the Kalani worlds? Even better. Their biological nature makes them natural cooperators once they understood they would not be dominated. They are sharing biotechnologies freely now, creating hybrid life forms we never imagined possible. The Zephyrians? Shin Ye-eun's expression grew more serious, more difficult. Their psychic abilities made them accustomed to imposing their will on others. But the younger generations are adapting. They seem excited about using their mental gifts to facilitate communication rather than control minds. Through the station's neural network, Lee Hyun could sense the thoughts and feelings of millions of beings across the galaxy. Not invasively, as the Zephyrians had done, but as a gentle awareness of the collective mood. What he felt was something the galaxy had never experienced before. Hope. Director Kim Jae-sung's voice reached him through the hybrid communication system. Captain, we have a situation that requires your attention. Lee Hyun focused his consciousness on Kim's location. The director was in the deep archives of the Great Station, surrounded by builder artifacts that still revealed new secrets every day. "What have you found now?" Lee Hyun asked. "Evidence that we are not the first," Kim replied. "The builders were not the original transcendent species. They found ruins of others who came before, and those beings found traces of even earlier, transcendent races." Lee Hyun felt a chill despite the warm atmosphere of the observation deck. "How many?" "At least 7 different transcendent civilizations over the past 50 million years. Each one reached the point we have reached. Each one faced the same choice: transcend beyond physical reality, or find a way to remain connected to material existence." "And what happened to them?" Kim's voice carried a mixture of wonder and concern. "The ones who transcended completely vanished from the physical universe. They may still exist in higher dimensions, but they can no longer interact with material life. The ones who tried to stay connected to physical reality." He paused. "We cannot find any trace of them after they achieved transcendence." The implications were troubling. Humanity had chosen the path of remaining connected to physical reality while gaining transcendent abilities. But the historical evidence suggested this choice might be inherently unstable. "Sir," another voice interrupted. It was Captain Park Do-hyun, calling from an exploration vessel at the galaxy's edge. "You need to see what we found." The image that appeared in Lee Hyun's mind was breathtaking. A massive structure orbited a dying star, its design clearly of builder origin but vastly more advanced than anything they had discovered before. The station was the size of a small moon, and every surface pulsed with patterns of light that seemed to move through dimensions beyond normal space. "It is still active," Park Do-hyun reported, "and it is sending signals, not just across space, but across time itself." Lee Hyun made a decision that would have been impossible for any human a year ago. He projected his consciousness across the galaxy instantly, appearing as a solid hologram on Park's ship. "Show me," he said. The exploration of the ancient builder station took 3 days. What the human team found there changed their understanding of everything. The station was not just a research facility or a monument. It was a message left by the builders for whoever came after them. And the message was terrifying in its implications. Tech-specialist Bae Woo-jin, his consciousness enhanced by direct interface with builder systems, translated the ancient records. "They tried to do exactly what we are doing," he reported to the assembled council. "Transcendent abilities while remaining connected to physical reality. For 1,000 years, it worked perfectly." "And then?" President Kang asked. "Even enhanced by transcendent abilities, she remained grounded in human concerns and morality. They discovered that transcendence is not stable in physical reality. The abilities grow stronger over time. Eventually, they become so powerful that maintaining physical form becomes impossible. The species faces a choice: limit their abilities and remain mortal, or accept full transcendence and lose connection to material existence. The builders chose transcendence," Director Kim added. "But first, they left this station as a warning, and they left something else. The something else changed everything. Deep in the station's core, the human explorers found a device that defied description. It existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, its purpose clear, even though its operation was beyond current understanding. It is a stabilizer," Bae Woo-jin explained. "It allows transcendent beings to remain connected to physical reality indefinitely. The builders created it, but never used it. They left it for whoever came next." "Why did they not use it themselves?" Engineer Yoon Da-hai asked. The answer came from the station's final message recorded by the last builder to exist in physical form. "We chose transcendence because we believed physical reality was a limitation to overcome. Only too late did we realize that physical existence is not a cage to escape, but a gift to cherish. We leave this device for those who are wiser than we were." The debate that followed lasted for months. Humanity now faced the same choice that had confronted every transcendent species: evolve beyond physical existence or find a way to remain connected to the material universe. Some argued for full transcendence. Why cling to physical limitations when godlike power awaited? Others insisted that humanity's strength came from their connection to mortal concerns, to the needs and dreams of physical beings. The decision was made democratically, with every enhanced human contributing to the choice. The vote was not even close. Humanity chose to use the Builder Stabilizer. The activation ceremony took place aboard the Great Station, with representatives from every species in the galaxy present. Captain Lee Hyun, as the first human to demonstrate transcendent abilities, was chosen to activate the device. As his hand touched the Builder construct, light exploded across the galaxy. Every human felt the change simultaneously. Their transcendent abilities stabilized, becoming permanent parts of their existence without the risk of forcing them beyond physical reality. But the change was not limited to humans. Ambassador Han Mi-kyung, coordinating with species across the galaxy, reported something unprecedented. The stabilizer effect is spreading to allied species through their hybrid technology connections. Forthak, Kalani, Zephyrian, and hundreds of other species are gaining enhanced abilities while remaining grounded in physical existence. For the first time in galactic history, transcendence was not limited to a single species, or reserved for those willing to abandon material reality. Admiral Choi Bin, now commander of the Galaxy Cooperative Fleet, watched from her flagship as the Great Station completed its transformation. What had begun as a construction project had become something alive, a nexus where thousands of species could meet and work together as equals. Fleet status? She asked her aide, Lieutenant Commander Yoon Da-hai. All vessels report full integration with the stabilizer network. Our ships exist simultaneously in normal space and transcendent dimensions. We can travel between star systems instantly, but we remain connected to physical reality. Choi Bin nodded with satisfaction. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy. They had elevated it. General Lee Soo-jin's forces, once designed for warfare, had become something entirely different. Her soldiers were now explorers and teachers, traveling to distant worlds to help newly transcendent species understand their abilities. How many species have requested assistance? She asked during her daily briefing. Over 3,000, came the reply. Word is spreading to the galaxy's rim that transcendence is now available to everyone, not just the traditionally powerful species. Dr. Park Mira, whose research had started humanity's transformation, made perhaps the most important discovery of all. The neural pathways that allowed humans to interface with technology were not unique. Every species possessed similar structures, but they had been suppressed by exposure to the three major powers' domination. Oppression literally rewired their brains, she explained to the Galactic Science Council. Thousands of years of being told they were inferior created neural blocks that prevented transcendence.